She doesn't chase, she attracts. She doesn't beg, she commands. And when she walks into the room, the energy shifts, the noise dies, and the world watches. That's not magic. That's the power of a high-value woman. You see, a high-value woman isn't made in makeup rooms or by male approval. She's carved by her choices, sculpted by her scars, and crowned by her confidence. And if you still think her worth is in her looks, darling, you're still looking at girls, not women. She leads with self-respect, not desperation. You see, there's something magnetic about a woman who doesn't chase anyone. Not people, not attention, not even love. She is not desperate to be liked, noticed, or accepted because she already accepts herself. She walks into a room and doesn't scan for approval. She brings the approval with her. She doesn't need anyone to validate her because the mirror she looks into every morning already reflects a woman who is enough. She's the kind of woman who doesn't send that double text. Not because she's playing games, but because she knows her energy is not for everyone. If someone takes too long to reply, she takes it as a sign, not a challenge. She's not in the business of convincing anyone to see her worth. Because if they don't see it, that's their loss, not her failure. Think of the girl who keeps checking her phone for his message, who waits hours hoping to be asked out, who reshapes herself to be someone else's type. That's not love. That's self-abandonment dressed as hope. A high-value woman doesn't wait to be picked like she's in a lineup. She picks herself. She knows that silence is a response and distance is clarity. And she's not afraid to walk away, even from someone she once loved deeply. Because staying where you're not valued is more painful than leaving. In the workplace, she doesn't shrink herself just to be accepted in a male-dominated boardroom. She doesn't laugh at sexist jokes to blend in. She doesn't play small so others can feel big. She's the woman who demands that raise, not because she's greedy, but because she knows her worth. She's the one who doesn't stay in toxic jobs just for security, because no paycheck is worth her peace. At home, she sets boundaries. Just because she's a daughter, a wife, or a mother, doesn't mean she becomes invisible. She's not the woman who says yes to every family demand while she quietly burns out. She's not afraid to say, I need time for myself. That's not selfish. That's survival. She knows that people who truly love her will never ask her to destroy herself to keep them comfortable. In friendships, she doesn't cling to people who leave her drained. She doesn't beg for inclusion in fake circles. She's the woman who can go to a cafe, sit alone, and still glow like she's in the spotlight. Because her presence doesn't need an audience. She's not lonely. She's selective. And that difference is everything. She understands that not every rejection is a loss. Sometimes it's redirection. Sometimes being left out is the universe's way of saying, you deserve better. She doesn't lose sleep over people who ghost her, ignore her, or underestimate her. She thanks them for clearing the space for what's truly aligned. Her self-respect shows in the way she dresses, not to impress, but to express. It shows in the way she speaks, with clarity, not confusion. It shows in the way she loves, deeply, but never foolishly. She gives her heart, but never forgets her backbone. This kind of woman doesn't wait for someone to tell her she's beautiful. She looks in the mirror and says, I am art, even on my worst days. She doesn't settle. Not for attention, not for love, not for a lifestyle, because she knows the moment you lower your standards just to keep someone, you start losing pieces of yourself. And she refuses to be half-loved. She refuses to shrink. She's not cold. She's not arrogant. She's simply done begging for what she knows she deserves. And that, right there, is what makes her untouchable. She heals in private and grows in silence. Not everything in her life is a highlight reel for the world to see. She doesn't post every tear, every betrayal, every wound. She understands that pain doesn't need an audience. It needs peace. While some scream their struggles into the void, hoping someone will understand, she sits in the stillness of her own strength and repairs what the world tried to break. Her healing is sacred. It doesn't happen in hashtags or captions. It happens in quiet moments no one ever sees. When her heart is shattered, she doesn't run to the world for sympathy. She runs inward. She journals at 3 a.m. She takes long showers where the water hides her tears. She sits on the floor with music that feels like therapy. And instead of posting cryptic quotes to get his attention, she removes his number, deletes the photos, and tells herself, I am not this pain. I am the power that survives it. She doesn't need to clap back. She doesn't need to expose anyone. She doesn't burn bridges. She just stops walking toward them. When someone hurts her, she doesn't waste her breath proving she was right. She lets karma do the talking and keeps her hands clean. Growth isn't loud. It's those quiet decisions you make when no one's watching. It's choosing peace over proving a point. It's deleting the message you wanted to send, because silence screams louder than words. She's the kind of woman who doesn't turn her pain into gossip. She turns it into greatness. When her friend betrays her, she doesn't create chaos. She distances herself, reflects, learns, and becomes better. That's what high-value women do. They don't drown in drama, they rise in wisdom. She knows that not everyone deserves a front row seat to her healing process, because people don't just watch you heal, they judge you while you're bleeding. And she won't give them that power. At work, when she's overlooked, she doesn't throw a tantrum. She studies harder. She works in silence. She sharpens her skills like a sword in the dark. And when the time is right, she walks into the spotlight prepared, polished, and unstoppable. Because she understands revenge is loud, but success whispers through your achievements. In relationships, when someone breaks her trust, she doesn't post stories throwing shade. She doesn't seek revenge through rebound dates. She disappears. She rebuilds. She comes back glowing. The woman who heals in silence always returns unrecognizable and unforgettable. She doesn't parade her progress either. When she starts going to therapy, journaling, meditating, she doesn't brag about being on a journey. She simply becomes better. Her glow isn't manufactured. It's earned through inner work. The work done behind closed doors. The crying, forgiving, release. And when someone asks, how are you so calm now? She smiles. Because they'll never know the storms she walked through just to feel this peace. In friendships, she chooses distance over confrontation. Not because she's afraid of conflict, but because she values her mental space too much to argue with people who don't even try to understand her. She has learned that silence is a filter. It removes the noise, the drama, and the people who never truly valued her in the first place. She doesn't rush healing. She doesn't pretend to be okay. She just gives herself time. Days when she doesn't want to get out of bed. Moments when her smile is fake. She honors all of it. Because healing isn't pretty. It's messy. It's lonely. It's slow. But she embraces it fully, knowing that true transformation is always born in the dark. She's not the loudest voice in the room, but she's the most powerful. Because while others crave attention, she craves growth. She is the woman who disappears for a while and comes back glowing, not because life got easier, but because she got stronger in the silence where no one clapped for her. She is financially independent and emotionally secure. She doesn't wait for a man to swipe his card or save her from the bills. She's not looking for a hero. She became one. Her strength doesn't come from how much she earns, but from the fact that she knows she can survive without needing anyone to rescue her. She doesn't measure her worth in gifts received, but in freedom earned. She walks into a store, buys what she likes, and doesn't flinch at the price tag, not because she's reckless, but because she worked for that freedom. She's the woman who knows the value of every coin. Because she earned it, she saved it, and she grew it. She's the woman who splits the bill not because she has to, but because she can. And when she chooses to let someone pay for her, it's not because she needs it, it's because she wants to. There's a difference. She owns her apartment or pays her rent on time. She handles her business, balances her budget, and knows exactly where every dollar goes. You won't catch her depending on someone else's wallet, because her dignity is never for sale. She doesn't tolerate disrespect just to live in comfort. She will leave the mansion and start over in a studio apartment if it means reclaiming her peace. And emotionally, she's a fortress. She doesn't break at every insult or melt at every compliment. She's not running after love like it's her oxygen. She's not sitting by the phone waiting for him to call. She's living, growing, evolving. She knows her heart is not a toy, so she guards it with grace. She loves, but doesn't cling. She cares, but doesn't chase. When someone walks away, she doesn't crumble. She closes the door, fixes her crown, and moves forward. That's emotional security. Not needing someone else to feel whole. Not depending on external validation to feel worthy. You'll see it in how she handles heartbreak. She doesn't spiral. She doesn't send 10 texts in a row. She lets go, learns the lesson, and levels up. While others stalk social media to see who replaced them, she's out leveling her career, booking a solo trip, starting that passion project she put off for too long. She doesn't need revenge to feel powerful. Her evolution is the revenge. In the office, she's the woman who negotiates her salary without apologizing. She knows she's not asking for a favor. She's asking for what she's earned. And if they don't see her value, she'll build her own business, walk her own path, and create her own empire. She's not afraid to stand alone because she's built her confidence on solid ground, not someone else's opinion. In friendships, she doesn't play the victim. She doesn't beg to be included. She doesn't crumble when people walk away. She understands seasons change, people shift, and not everyone is meant to stay. But she stays rooted in herself. She knows she's whole with or without a tribe. In love, she's not impressed by wealth. She's attracted to character. She doesn't fall for charm. She falls for consistency. She doesn't need a man to complete her. She wants a partner who complements her. And if he's intimidated by her independence, She doesn't dim her light to make him comfortable. She's not going to shrink for anyone. She's the kind of woman who invests in herself. She attends workshops, learns new skills, not just to grow her income, but to grow her inner world. Because she knows a rich heart and a stable mind are more valuable than any designer label. While others seek relationships to fill a void, she fills that void with purpose. Her love isn't hungry, it's whole. Her presence isn't desperate, it's divine. She chooses her circle wisely. Not everyone who smiles at her is invited in. Not everyone who claps is trusted. She's not interested in popularity. She's interested in peace. She understands that energy is contagious, and she's fiercely protective of her own. She doesn't keep people around just because they've been there a long time. If they drain her spirit, they're no longer welcome. Longevity doesn't earn loyalty if respect isn't mutual. She doesn't confuse crowd with connection. She'd rather have 3 real ones than 30 fake ones. Because she knows it's not about how many people surround you. It's about how many stand with you when everything falls apart. She's not looking for people who party with her on Saturday night. She's looking for those who check on her Sunday morning, when the mask is off and the soul is tired. She listens deeply, not just to what people say, but how they show up. Words are easy. Presence is proof. She doesn't engage in gossip because she knows the one who gossips to you will gossip about you. She gets what she wants. She didn't care what anyone thought. She didn't care what anyone told you. 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 She didn't care what anyone told. She watches how people treat others when no one's looking. That's the real test. If they celebrate others' failures, she distances herself. If they thrive on chaos, she cuts the cord. She values her peace more than forced friendships. She's not afraid to outgrow people. Growth demands space. And sometimes that means walking away from the very people she once thought she couldn't live without. In her daily life, you'll notice how intentional she is. She doesn't hang out just for the sake. That's it. Every conversation, every interaction is an energy exchange. She asks herself, does this person lift me or limit me? Do they inspire me or exhaust me? And if the answer points to depletion, she makes no apologies for creating distance. Because she understands, a high-value woman doesn't just protect her heart, she protects her atmosphere. You'll see her at brunch, laughing with women who clap loudly for each other, not compete in secret. You'll hear her conversations deep, intentional, powerful. She talks about vision, not vanity, goals, not gossip, healing, not hating. She surrounds herself with warriors, not weepers. Women who walk through fire and don't brag about the burns, but show you the wisdom they earned from the flames. When it comes to love, she doesn't just fall for chemistry. She watches his character. She notices how he treats the waiter, how he talks about his ex, how he reacts to stress. She's not fooled by grand gestures if consistency is missing. She won't tolerate charm without respect. Because to be in her circle means you bring more than just words. You bring integrity. She doesn't keep people who don't match her standards. That's not arrogance. That's self-respect. Even in family, she sets boundaries. She understands that blood may be thicker than water, but energy is stronger than both. If a relative brings chaos, guilt, or manipulation, she chooses distance over dysfunction because her peace is non-negotiable. She's learned the hard way that not every family member is safe, and that sometimes healing begins when you stop explaining your worth to people who never saw it. At work, she connects with mentors and colleagues who challenge her, not compete with. Your career can be what it can be, but it cannot be what her. She avoids office politics because she's too focused on progress. She chooses alliances that build, not break. She doesn't network for clout. She builds genuine relationships based on value and respect. Her circle reflects her evolution. As she grows, it changes. She's okay with losing people because she knows the woman she's becoming can't be reached by those still trapped in who she used to be. And if she ever feels lonely, she reminds herself, I'd rather walk alone in truth than crowd myself with counterfeit connections. That's her power. That's her peace. That's her standard. She's soft but not weak, kind but not naive. Don't mistake her gentleness for fragility. She's the calm before the storm, the quiet strength that never needs to scream to be heard. She can make a room feel warm just by being in it. But if you cross her boundaries, you'll meet a fire wrapped in grace. She doesn't roar, but her silence can shake your soul. Because her softness is not a weakness, it's a conscious choice in a world that taught her to be hard. In her daily life, she speaks with kindness to the barista who gets her name wrong, tips the delivery guy extra on a rainy day, and smiles at the security guard as if he were the CEO. Not because she's trying to impress anyone, but because she respects people. She knows that real power doesn't need to prove itself. Her kindness is not performative. It's part of her DNA. But don't be confused. She remembers every moment someone mistook her compassion for a green light to disrespect her. And when she walks away without a word, that silence will scream louder than any argument. She's the kind of woman who forgives, but never forgets the lesson. She'll give you a second chance, but not a third. She'll try to see the good in people, but she's no fool. She sees through manipulation cloaked in charm. She knows how people smile in your face and sting behind your back. Yet she chooses to stay kind, not for them, but for herself. Because she refuses to let the world make her bitter. You'll see her at work, the one who helps a colleague without expecting credit, who listens in meetings without interrupting, who compliments someone's success without jealousy. But she's also the one who will walk into a room, state her value, and walk out if she's not respected. She's soft-spoken, but don't ever assume she's powerless. She's a lioness in silence. Her softness is her strategy. It disarms people, but it doesn't disarm her. In love, she gives deeply. She nurtures, supports, believes. She'll remember the small things. The way you like your coffee, the movie that made you cry, the dreams you mentioned once and forgot. She loves with her entire being. But the moment you start to play games, test her limits, or mistake her love for dependency, she's out. No drama, no second act. Just silence and distance. Because her heart is not a playground, it's a temple. She may cry in private, but she never begs in public. She may hurt, but she doesn't lose her dignity. She doesn't throw tantrums. She makes decisions. She doesn't burn bridges. She simply walks away. Because she understands the difference between being patient and being played. She can be your biggest supporter or your quietest exit. It depends on how you treat her. She doesn't take pride in being cold, but she takes pride in protecting her peace. She can hold your secrets, but not your lies. She can embrace your flaws, but not your excuses. She can love you through storms, but she won't drown for you. She knows how to stand up for herself without shouting. She knows how to disagree without disrespect. She knows how to be kind. And in a world that tells women to harden up, she dares to stay soft, not because she's weak, but because she's wise enough to know there is more power in being gentle with boundaries than being loud with chaos. She's soft enough to nurture, but strong enough to walk away. She's kind enough to forgive, but smart enough not to forget. She's not looking to win every argument. She's looking to win her peace. She's not afraid to be vulnerable, but you'll never find her lost because she knows who she is. And she doesn't need the world to approve of her softness when she's already mastered the art of strength through grace. She knows she is the prize. Not because someone told her, not because a man validated her worth, but because she worked for it. She built herself from the ground up. Every scar, every fall, every lonely night when no one clapped, and still she rose. She's the prize because she's been through hell and didn't come back empty-handed. She came back wiser, stronger, glowing from the fire that tried to destroy her. You can see it in how she walks. Shoulders back, eyes forward, not seeking attention but commanding respect. She doesn't chase anyone because she knows what she brings to the table. Loyalty that doesn't flinch, peace that's priceless, beauty that isn't just skin deep. The kind of woman you don't meet twice. She's the one who challenges your soul, not just your ego. The one who supports your dreams but won't shrink hers for your comfort. She doesn't want to be saved. She's already done that for herself. She doesn't ask for a king to complete her. She is the kingdom. Even in her friendships, she sets the tone. She's not afraid to outgrow people who keep shrinking around her evolution. She doesn't hold on to toxic connections out of nostalgia. Her time is her currency, and she spends it wisely. If you bring drama, she brings distance. If you bring peace, she'll match your energy. But don't expect her to stay where her worth isn't acknowledged. She knows what she carries. I'm not hard to love, she says. I'm just not for the lazy harder. You'll see her in daily life, at the gym pushing herself harder, not to impress the world, but value of her energy and the depth of her soul. She's the prize, not because of what's on her body, but what's inside her heart. She's not found, she is earned. She doesn't wait to be picked. She recognizes that she is the garden, the crown, the flame, and if someone can't rise to meet her worth, she walks away. Not out of ego, but out of evolution. She's not just a woman. She's a movement, a force, a masterpiece that was once broken and rebuilt with fire in her veins and grace in her footsteps. She is the one who doesn't just walk into a room. She shifts the entire energy. She doesn't wait to be seen. She knows she is light, and those who carry light never chase shadows. They called her too much, too loud, too strong, too ambitious, too bold. But here's the truth. She was never too much. They were simply not enough. Her presence makes insecure people uncomfortable, and that's not her burden to carry. Because she no longer shrinks to fit into spaces she's outgrown. She's not afraid to be the one who stands alone if it means standing in truth. Let them talk. While they whisper, she builds. While they doubt, she delivers. While they copy, she creates. She doesn't seek revenge. She upgrades her life until her silence speaks louder than their insults. You see, a high-value woman doesn't scream her worth. She lives it. She wears her standards like skin. She's not looking for attention, she's looking for alignment. And when you're focused on alignment, noise becomes irrelevant. She's not everyone's cup of tea. She's the rare wine you discover once and remember forever. She's a woman who knows what she brings to the table, and if necessary, she will eat alone. Because she understands that solitude is a sanctuary, not a punishment. She's learned that peace is more precious than people. That sometimes the most powerful thing you can say is, I'm done. Not out of hate, but out of healing. Her worth is not found in the mirror or the opinions of others. Her worth is found in how she rises every time life knocks her down. It's found in the dignity she keeps when others lose theirs, in the tears she wipes in silence, and the boundaries she draws in boldness. She doesn't need a crown to be a queen. She is the throne. And for every girl watching this, wondering if you're enough, you are not just enough. You are more than enough. You are the storm that silence can't hold back. You are the fire that rejection can't extinguish. You are the gold that pressure couldn't crush. Let them underestimate you. Let them misjudge you. Let them walk away. Because their departure was never your downfall. It was your redirection. Every time they left, you leveled up. Every time they doubted you, you sharpened your sword. Every time life said no, you turned it into a roar that echoed louder than anyone's applause. She remembered who she was, and the game changed. Yes, that's the plot twist. Not when they loved her, but when she loved herself so fiercely that nothing could be taken from her. She stopped asking, am I enough? And started declaring, I am everything. She stopped waiting for a hero and became one. Because in the end, what sets her apart is not what she wears, not who she dates, not what she owns. It's what she owns within. Her mind, her peace, her path. She lives by the code, don't just be a pretty face, be a powerful presence. A woman like her doesn't just survive, she leads, she inspires, she becomes the standard, and the world watches. Sometimes with envy, sometimes with awe, but always with the silent admission that she's different. So here's your reminder. You don't have to become what the world expects. Become what your soul desires. Don't follow the trend. Be the trailblazer. Don't settle for love that breaks you. Be the love that builds you. Don't just exist. Leave an imprint. Make them feel your absence like thunder after lightning. Be the reason another woman believes in herself again. Be the voice, the fire, the force. And above all, remember this. A woman who knows her value will never beg for a seat. She builds the table. And if they can't handle her, let them watch her rise from a distance. Because she was born to stand out, not fit in. Born to lead, not follow. Born to be unforgettable, not tolerated. She is not becoming a high-value woman. She already is.